Oh, welcome you guys. You're here with Everything Waterfalls. This is kind of a cool little video to do. It's a matrix of a waterfall. And what is a matrix? There's so many meanings for it. We're going to change it up a little bit to fit what I want to do for this. But essentially it's a form that you can take a mold and mold maybe a rock formation. There's all kinds of meanings, but it's kind of cloudy. We're gonna make it work for what we're doing. But the matrix of a waterfall, and to get into it, it's cool because what we're using is polymers to make the ultimate waterfall. Just like I have a video on before. I used to make a welding gun dance. I mean, I was really good with it. Here's all the different welding rod. We got the polypro, polyethylene, CPVC, PVC. This is a sheet of the PVC. We got the CPVC and finally the polypropylene. But all these have their own special advantages and disadvantages. Just like something like this would be more geared for splash guards. A lot of it's for molded basins and stuff for tank farms for water and chemicals that are room temperature. This here is PVC. I used to make a ton of my fume hoods for taking away your acids and fumes from acids and chromium and also cyanides and stuff. Here's the heavy hitter. This is CPVC. This is stuff that's good for your higher temperature and stuff. So what does it have to do with a waterfall matrix? It all gears for polymers, just like, and I'm gonna show you something really quick and kind of neat here, because a lot of you think that real rocks is the way to go, and basically you're not too far from the end result. What we're going to talk to here, but I'm going to show you something real quick here. This is basically. And this is kind of quick and dirty. If you take a milk container, basically, fold it over, you can take a bulkhead fitting, fit it here, and fill it and have water pumped in here, put this out. Basically, you got a waterfall wear. And that's where a lot of the waterfall wears, they're pre-molded, polyethylene, polypropylene, plastics, and from there, you get somebody in there that can kind of do stuff like this and tastefully put rock around it to get you a waterfall. And this is simple, but it's not. It's hard. It takes some pretty good art skills or skills from a landscaper to make this look good. And once they put it in, what do they put in there? Sometimes there's a mixture of cement, sometimes there's foam. A lot of times they use foam. It's a black foam. So in other words, your waterfalls made from real rock isn't so real after all. It's pretty fake, in fact, because you are using preformed polypropylene. You're also using liners. You're using cement. You're using foam. So that's one way of doing it, and it's not very customer friendly, user friendly, because most of the time you have a lot of leaks. You have a lot of heaving, especially where I live in Ohio, the frost and everything, it just throws things around. So that's the real rock portion. Here's another one that you're used to. And by the way, I've used all the real rock for 45 years. This here I've used. This here is your fiberglass type unit. These here, they are what they are. They're kind of neat. They look real nice. You can make a lot of beautiful fountains out of it. I bought this many years ago. It comes and it kind of slides on a pond. And the first year I had heard pump cavitation. That's when usually you can tell when the pump is running dry. I looked here, there was a big crack in my polyurethane, but anyways, it was the fiberglass that cracked. So it again, in the elements, it has its disadvantages. So let's get right to the main player that we're gonna talk about is these real cool universal rocks. And by the way, this is one of the smaller ones, and it's pretty commonly used and sold. I have it as a kit for one of the small patio ponds. But let's look at the whole entire formation, the matrix of a waterfall. And basically, there's a polyurea that they use. And the polyurea, for any of you guys that are health nuts, you think goji berries and all these other things, that's like the super food. Polyurea is the super plastic for everything. When you get into polymers, synthetic materials, they all have their advantages, but they're going to have a disadvantage. Now, looking at the advantage of this polyurea, it's a primary and secondary containment. It's a spray. You take high-powered spray, and you have to have an air compressor. You put on different thicknesses, and it's supposed to be puncture-proof. It's good for up to 300 degrees. I had a guy call me. He was in Death Valley. He was worried that these wouldn't last up to 120 degree temperatures. And I says, do you get up to 300? He says, no. I said, these are fine. And how about as far as the temperatures are cold? It's good for freezing. I've had mine not only out there in the snow and the freezing, but they're running also. And another thing which is really nice about these is the tensile strength. That's when they put in a machine and they pull apart. So when I worked, not only was I the plastic fabricator where I did all kinds of things, I also put a lot of time in under, it was like 3 chemists and also scientists that we did the different polymers. I'd go in and every morning I'd have all these, the stack of all these different lab books, and that was my job, is to make polymer after polymer after polymer. So that's one of the things, is all polymers, they have advantages and disadvantages. But with the polyurea, even though it's has the different tensile strength, and I put all the different things on this page so you can go in there and investigate and see what a super powerhouse these waterfalls are. But they show people spraying these coatings of polyurea against brick walls, all types of cements and stuff, and they're beating the heck out of the polyurea. The polyurea actually holds up perfect, but all the cement is smashed. So they're saying that this plastic is much stronger than cement. So a lot of the uses I put on there, it's under the jug of coatings, but it's good for primary and secondary containment, for the marine, for fish holding tanks. It's good for, God, there's like 6 different pages. Linings for bed liners for pickup trucks and commercial floors, walls of dairy barns, coatings, roofing, sealants, earthen containment, wooden coatings. I mean, the list goes on. It's a super plastic. And then what happens is the only disadvantage is it's flimsy because it is a coating. So that's where the polyurethane foam comes in. And you can see underneath it, it doesn't look the prettiest, and it's kind of, and the only 2 parts, the only 2 things that we ask this to do is, one is hold the form for the polyurea, so it keeps it, it's very strong, and also it makes it lightweight. So user-friendly, homeowner-friendly, so you can what do we want to do? We want to move it around. Maybe we want to reposition. Maybe we want to take it from one pond to another to change what we're trying to do in our yard. Another thing is, with this, don't be concerned with the way it looks in here, because sometimes you see cracks, sometimes you see divots, but that's not what this is doing. It's just holding the form. Now, with all companies, they have their own process, and with, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's Stuart from university saying, watch, that's our process, not to let anybody know. And he's right. And because every process is different, while some processes work, other ones aren't quite as good. So when you look at this, and we're going to check up on them and see exactly the thickness of the polyurea is. Got about 7 mils. That's pretty thick for what we need for the waterfall. But anyways, you get the idea. By combining two different polymers, we can make both of them be make one powerhouse strength. So in other words, in combining different ones, you can really come up with something really fantastic. And for the waterfalls, this is awesome. Now what about this top part? This here is all natural oxides. We're talking maybe some crushed rock, sometimes sand, other things. And again, I had somebody ask me, how can I make these? Can you tell me? No, of all the tanks, of all the specialized stuff that I welded, all the polymers that I made, I'm not willing to have fun in the sun with these. This here is a dirty process. It is handmade, so it's not like the fiberglass jobs where they're on an assembly line and you're getting thousands a minute. These here have to be handmade, which makes them unique. And another thing, I had a few people, they wanted me to sell their products on my site because they like this stuff, but they claim that theirs is the better rock and they use cement. And the thing is, every time I'm out on the road and I get behind some pylons or those orange barrels, I'm on road construction because the cement, what happens when water gets in there? It's not so much the cars and stuff, but water gets in there and it does funny things. And as you saw, and if you take advantage and look at some of these videos, cement is not the way to go. It's kind of weak, really, when you look at it. They hit it with sledgehammers. The polyurea is still there. The cement is all smashed up. So when you got the coating and their formulation of how they put the coating onto the polyurea with the foam, you get the idea. You have the ultimate waterfall. You have phenomenal waterfalls, and that's why we got Everything Waterfalls. It is meant to be more of a website to show you the different ways, because I get tons of people, well, what are they made of? Are they fiberglass? I even had a guy who says, they better not be sounding like you're whizzing in a tin can. I says, well, what do you mean? He says, come on, Dave, you know. It's like taking a piss in a tin can. He says, it's like the fiberglass. They better not sound. I says, no, they sound great. And the thing is, how many you have rocks and they fall apart, they fall, I mean, just because they're rocks doesn't mean they don't crack, they don't break, they don't, but here we're taking the best of every world. We're making it, these are designs from Universal, they're created, and the thing is with the other guy, he says, we target the rich people, we target because of the cement, they're heavier, and I says, you know what, you just completely blew with me. I don't like to discriminate against people. This here is my hobby of gardening, of waterfalls for 45 years. I want everybody to have it. I don't want to target somebody. I want to target me. I want to be able to use them if they're too expensive. And that's what you have to look at too, is the designing. And you have to look a little bit further. How much it would cost to have a landscaper come in here and totally design it, how to redo your landscape to fit the pond and to fit the things that they're selling. These here, the whole line, you can create to fit your landscape. That's what makes these pretty cool, because you can skip a lot of steps that are costly, and not to put the landscaper and stuff down, because they do excellent work, but you know what, I don't know a landscaper or anybody who would turn out putting something like this in, because we can get in and get out and get to the next project. So just wanted to bring this to light here, how these are made. And there's a lot, when you think of a plastic, you're thinking about a baggie you put a plastic in, or a sandwich in, I should say, or you're looking for a milk jug. But no, it's really from the thing, just like there's millions of different polymers, synthetic material. Your whole house is basically, most of it's made out of different polymers and stuff. So this here is one heck of a way to put a water garden in for a fraction of the cost of what you would do with real rocks. And what are you doing with real rocks? You're still using prefab polypropylene, you're using foam, you're still using cement, you're still using EPDM rubber liners or PVC liners.